Hello gamers, and welcome. Today we're doing something a little different. Today we're going to take a look at Steam. Now most of you are probably console gamers, so you've never tried Steam before. And then there are some of you on Gamers Bay who are PC gamers, so you know what Steam is. This is more for those of you who've never used Steam before, who really don't know what it is. You've heard about it a lot, but you don't really know the ins and outs of exactly what it is. Now, if you've used Xbox Live or PSN, then you already have some idea of what Steam is. It is a store, but it's also a game launcher and a social network and voice chat and everything else all combined into one client program that can run on Windows, Mac, or Linux. And while there's a lot to this and what it can do, it's not all that complicated to use. It's pretty simple. And installing games on here is really easy. I mean, you just buy the game, it downloads, and once it's downloaded, it's playable. There's no install process. You don't have to launch anything to install the game. You just buy it. The Steam downloads the game. Once the download is done, just click the play button and you're in the game. Now there are various things that you can do while you're in here to manage your game. Here, if your game can take launch options like setting switches for, you want to disable audio or change some kind of setting in the game, and if it takes command line switches, you can type them here, and then whenever the game launches, it will use those switches. Some games require them, especially if it's an older game, to make it compatible with newer versions of Windows. Sometimes you have to do that. You can turn on the overlays for the Steam overlay and the overlay for Steam VR, create a shortcut. You can set rules for how the game gets updated, whether it's always updated. You can set it as a high priority, so this gets updated before others do. You can enable or disable Steam Cloud, which saves your saved games and your which will synchronize to Steam Cloud your saved games as well as your setting preferences for those games. Some games use it, some games don't, not all of them do. You can manage the local files. You can verify the Steam cache. That will check to make sure that you have all the files downloaded for a game. You can delete it. You can back up the files, or you can just browse. Boom, immediately go to where the files are stored on the hard drive. Sometimes there may be a reason why you want to do this, specifically when you're installing mods, or if you want to alter the INI setting files for games manually, you can do that. Language, you can select the language for the game. And here you can opt into betas. You need a key to get in, you need a code, and sometimes if you ask for it, they'll give you the code to let you try betas for various games. And that's basically it. You have your achievements listed, news, who on your friends list owns the game and plays it, and when they are currently playing it. I've got some friends that play some of these other games. You can also put games in here that are not from the Steam store, like this one I installed separately, but I put in here because I wanted to be able to launch it. Things like Minion, which is the add-on manager for Elder Scrolls Online. Software, and it lists your DLC any DLC that you might have installed for various games and software. And you'll get very familiar with this particular screen. This is the one that you'll be interacting with the most when you're a Steam user. You can change how you view things. Over here, I prefer this because it's more detailed. This is more like the classic Steam that I was used to. I've been using Steam since almost the beginning when Half-Life 2 launched. So I've actually watched this whole client evolve over time, and it's really grown, and it's really improved and become something really, really, big. So this includes, not only the way to manage your games, sort them, keep them updated, and various things. It's also a social network. Let me go here. There we go. It's also a social network, and you can see posts made by people, and you can make posts yourself. Screenshots. And various things that people have posted. Very much like Facebook or Google Plus on here. Now, and if you want to, since Steam has the ability to broadcast your games, you can watch games that people are playing. So let's say we want to watch this person that's playing Dota 2 here. And it doesn't take very many system resources in order to stream the game. Uses the same technology that Steam uses to stream to the Steam Link box or to another Steam client. You can install, let's say you have a Uber gaming rig in your in your bedroom, but you have a small home theater PC hooked to your TV. You can install Steam on it, log into it with the same account as your gaming machine, and then connect to it with in-home streaming and be able to control it from that computer. Or you can use a Steam Link device. We've got a Steam Link here in the house. Use it with a mouse and keyboard, or use it with the Steam controller. And it actually works pretty well. Now, I'm not getting audio from this person because you can select whether or not you want people to hear your audio. You can also, let people, hear your microphone as well. So in a way, this is a lot like Twitch and YouTube gaming built into this client. And you can choose whether or not anyone can watch your game. You can choose whether only people on your friends list can watch, or nobody. You might prefer that nobody watch your gameplay. So, that's up to you. You can choose that. And, of course, you can chat, just like in Twitch. And this is a Russian game. And there's a lot of people playing. A lot of games going on right now. And you can watch all these. All these are live. So as I said, this is the screen that you will become most familiar with when you're using Steam. There's one other thing I wanted to show you. Over here you can configure the Steam controller. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on this, because to just quickly gloss over everything here doesn't do this controller justice. I know that there have been a lot of reviews of this that say that it's not that great, and that people don't like. People say it's a bad controller, and people don't like it, blah blah blah. That's mainly because they don't get the point of what this controller is and what it is trying to do. And there is a lot of options available for this controller. I mean, I would have to take an entire video just to explain exactly what all this can do. Everything here can be changed. Every button can be altered, and you can create multiple sets of actions based on what's going on in the game. I mean, this is incredibly advanced, and I'd have to take my time explaining everything that this does, and I accidentally launched ESO. Alright, so let's move on. What you're probably going to want to see next is the store. And so this is where you would get all your games from. And the store is pretty simple. It's just like the website. In fact, it is the website. This is a web browser that's built into Steam itself. The WebKit browser, the same browser that was used originally for Google Chrome, which Chrome is now using something different, but it was using WebKit for a long time. Open source web browser. And so you'll come here and you'll get a listing of all games. You can search for games by category. You can search by their name, like if you wanted to find all the Star Wars games. You can do that. If you own the game, it will put, this in library tag on it, so you don't accidentally buy the same game over again, which I own a lot of the Star Wars games. Whenever you see a game listing, you hover over it, you'll get that little card, and you'll get like what the overall review is. You'll get a synopsis of what the game is, what platforms it runs on. This one runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Also tells you whether or not it has multiplayer, has the tags, their descriptive tags, and also lists, if you have friends that play this game or own it, then they'll be listed on here. And the store is pretty easy to use. Just click on whatever game you want to take a look at. This one, Steep, mostly positive. You get the overall impression of what the reviews say. The various packages that are available, whatever DLC there might be available. Right now there's a season pass, but I don't recommend buying season passes. Get recent updates, news for the particular game, then all the details about the game from the publisher, the system requirements for the game, and then all the reviews. And you can sort the reviews by different categories. There are some bad reviews, some good reviews. You get a mix of them all. This over here on this side will tell you various things. Like this one tells you this requires Uplay because it's a Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft likes to try. Ubisoft is like EA. They want to try and reinvent the wheel. What the game's rating is, who made it, the companies involved. You can share it. You can get the Metacritic score, which is 71. It's not bad. And basically using this is easy. When you buy games, you can use your credit card or you can use a PayPal account. So you can use PayPal with this, which I recommend using PayPal when buying games from Steam because it makes it really easy. And, it's pretty simple. And then once you buy the game and you go through the install process, it'll download it. And once it's downloaded, it's ready to go. There's no downloading and then waiting for it to install. It's pretty simple. And that's basically what Steam is. It's, it does a lot, and it's a small client. Yes, it is a form of DRM, and I've been very critical of DRM. Steam is a form of DRM that stays out of your way. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't complicate things for you. Excuse me. No. And so this is basically what Steam's all about. Your store, your library, a social network, a way to watch what other people are playing, which someone here, I believe they're playing, that's Guilty Gear. You can see what other people are playing, see other broadcasts. There's a social networking aspect to the game that's very similar to, Facebook and Google+. And then you have a profile, you have an inventory of items, like all my Team Fortress 2 stuff and trading cards that I got for various games that I've bought are in here. And you can sell all these, turn them into gems. I'm not sure what the gems are for. Oh, they're used to create booster packs. Okay. Of these trading cards. And you can sell them for real world money, and they'll go into your Steam wallet, which you can then use, over time. As you sell more of these over time, it'll build up, and it might even get you a free game because you'll use what's in your Steam wallet to buy a game. This is basically what Steam's all about. It's nothing too complicated, nothing too difficult to learn, to understand. That's Steam. If you are using it on a TV, or if you're using a Steam Link, you will use Big Picture mode. This, of course, lets you control Steam with the controller. And you have a web browser. You can go to the store, which there is a version of the store on here. You can browse, all using the controller. You can also use since this now supports not only just the Steam controller, this also supports the Xbox One controller and the PlayStation 4 controller, and it makes them all configurable. Your library, you can launch games from here and get into them. Community tab, same thing as in the other screen. Everything's all here. And then chat, you can talk to your various friends, and there is voice chat for that will work in virtually any game. And so that's Steam. So there's nothing else to really talk about it. It's not complicated. It's not, it's not rocket science. If you get into PC gaming, this is what you'll be using most of the time. There is good old games. There is direct to drive. They're still around. Good Old Games is another good service for getting games, and they offer DRM free games. This is the one thing that you'll be using the most. And I think that you will actually like it. It's actually pretty fast. It is pretty robust. Very rarely will you have problems with it. I've very rarely ever encountered any issues with Steam. Oh, if you decide to get into PC gaming, this is where you'll be getting most of your games from. You can use your credit card, or you can use a PayPal account to buy games with, and I recommend using PayPal because it's faster that way and a lot more secure. Well, thank you for watching, and I will be doing more tutorial, just overview videos like this in the future. Again, I will also be doing a video on the Steam controller, because just covering what that controller can do would take an entire video on its own. So I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.